What's up, everybody? This is Ming Chen from AMC's Comic Book Men, and this is Project Nerd.
Hey!
We out here.
We out here!
Recording some pods.
Good. We're just going to keep trying different backgrounds until we find one that works for us. It's going to be good.
Yes. I mean, we're like big right now.
We're so big. Look at us.
Full
Oh,
screen.
wait. Here we go. Here, look at it. There's full screen. Then we got little windows.
We're so
You like that
small.
one better? Which one do you
No,
like?
I like the big because I got all this crap behind me. So just
All
like
right.
cut
You
it
see
off.
nothing. No one sees
Yes.
anything. This is it. We're
I'm
secrets.
not in anyone's parents' basement right now.
What we're gonna
all
definitely
right?
do is I want to get on Q, who hosts one of the hosts of The Last Word, along with Andy. They have these like awesome like podcast corners, like where like the background is like built,
Yeah,
and
that's what I need.
I'm gonna do that because and now that I'm almost done with. For those of you who don't know, I'm a homeowner, and I'm busy getting everything ready for my kids and stuff. So now that I'm finally in a place where like the upstairs is like the living stuff, I can start on the fun stuff. So I have a full basement that's just like dying to get turned into like a cosplay podcast photo shoot maker's place. So
Yes.
hopefully maybe in a couple episodes.
Heck yeah,
I'll have
dog.
a hot spot.
Maybe I can just drape a sheet right behind me and just pretend like there's nothing there.
Actually, yes, you hit your headphones. What I wanna do is I wanna do in my like costume. I do make my own costumes and stuff, so that's mostly what it's gonna be. I want like you can buy those like IKEA, you can buy them anywhere, like the wires that go across your ceiling so you can have like curtains, like room dividers. And I want to have like
Yes.
a white sheet and a black sheet for like photos. So you can just
Oh
do
yeah,
something
yeah,
like
yeah.
that too, like for for recording.
Oh yeah.
Mhm.
That's such a good idea. Why didn't
Yeah.
I think of it?
Oh, we can't all be geniuses. All right.
So, we getting into it now. Okay, today we're talking about not Superman because, please, he's old. Everyone's talking about him. We're talking about Superman's son, which I think has been a little confused with his dad recently. Because if you haven't heard, Superman's son John, Jon, no H, has come out as bisexual.
Dun dun dun.
Oh, and he fell in love with a reporter. Oh my God, what a scandal! So he has a boyfriend right now.
Okay.
And I've seen a lot of comments on the internet, and they're like, "Why did you make Superman gay?" And I'm just like so upset with people for so many
God.
reasons.
But
Because
honestly, there's not enough white straight men in the world being represented in pop culture, especially in the
that's
nerd
true.
community, especially in the
That's
comic book
true.
community. There's not enough. We really need to think about everybody.
Yeah, yeah. It's a travesty, to say the least.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm gonna go full on Fujoshi, and if you don't know what that term means, look it up and support the hell out of John Kent and his boyfriend, Jay Nakamura. And Sarah, if you would like to display the photo of them almost kissing.
True love.
So cute.
Actually, they're like. I mean, I know these are just illustrations, but this is like actually good looking. They're like a good looking couple. Like
yes.
They're both very handsome.
Yes, that is why I can definitely. I mean, not that there's anything wrong with non-beautiful people being in love, but I'm just saying, I'm all about this couple right now. All right, he's coming down, John Kent coming down, and he's like, "Oh, my beautiful boyfriend, I'm gonna kiss your sensual lips right now," and I'm just like, "Yes, I'm here for this right now.
Awesome.
Thank you."
So, do you know? And I might be asking a question that you don't know. So, John, do we know what because there's so many Supermans and Superboys and Supergirls. Is John just a product of Lois and
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Yes. Okay.
Lois Lane
He's an
and
old-fashioned make-em
Superman.
baby.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay. Got it.
Superman put
made
a
him the
bun.
old-fashioned way.
Yes, he did. I mean, who knows how that works?
Mhm.
Because there's all this conjecture about shooting, speed, and stuff.
Yeah.
But we
me get into it real quick. Here's my one thing is that at that would suggest that Superman has like no control because he doesn't just walk and go like, he doesn't sneeze and punch a wall. Like, he can choose to exert himself to that power. Like, he doesn't just he doesn't just like start floating because he chooses to fly. He chooses to use his super stuff. So I think theoretically he could have super cum that could make her explode, but I think it's not like he can control it. Like, it would be like he would have to choose to do it.
Yeah.
And so maybe in the moment he's like, yeah, and then so everybody calm your tits.
Yeah.
Especially you in the back. Put those tits down. Sorry, I was talking to America. Keep going.
So many tits everywhere. So John and Jay, they have been friends for like ever. And John is a new character. So if anyone's like, you're making a mockery or blah, 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 whatever, they like just started writing about him. So he's very new. He just came on the scene. He's young. They did age him up for whatever reason, and there's a whole plot with that, and I can't say I agree or disagree with that right now because that's not what we're getting into.
Yes.
But he was aged up for whatever reason, and now he is essentially a full-grown man boy.
Ooh.
It's in the bed. Sorry.
Burt Reynolds is interrupting. Is that Burt Reynolds?
Yes.
You guys, Dee's husband looks like Burt Reynolds right now, so that's what we're going to start calling him.
Yes. We need a picture of Burt Reynolds.
Burt Reynolds. Actual photo of Burt Reynolds, right?
Yes. All right. Sorry, that was a family emergency.
Was it an emergency? Was the baby?
Yes. So, all right. So John and Jay have been friends forever. And after John had all of this like anxiety, and he had been like worn down mentally and physically from like saving like all of these people, and he turned to Jay for like that shoulder to lean on, and he realized that he had deeper feelings for Jay.
I love it.
Yeah, so it's not like it's just like out of nowhere. There was like this connection. They had this friendly connection, and then there was like this deeper moment that happened, and then he's like, oh, I've got feelings for you. And so it was nice. It was organic. It's not just out of the blue, like, oh. So yeah, I'm hoping that they don't mess this up, because comic book writers sometimes mess things up. And I don't know the orientation of the writers, so they could just be straight dudes trying to write gay characters and just be like.
So I'm curious. And I feel like I should have done my research, so this is probably my fault.
Well,
if is he confirmed? Because there's bisexual and there's pansexual right off the bat.
They have said he is bisexual.
And I'm wondering though, like, just because the relationship you just described tends to become more of a pansexual person, because it's like, and I'm going to speak from experience. This is not a clinical anything, but most people I found who are bisexual, including myself, have known they've liked men and women from a very early age before you even have the concept of like relationships and intimacy. Like something in our instinct is like, I like that and I like that. While people who are pansexual, they figure out they're pansexual because what happens is they develop some sort of like personal relationship, like there's an intimacy, not like physical, there's something, and they're like, oh, I like that person. And what the difference is that because there's that intimacy connection required for that sexual attraction, it's not just men or women, it can be anybody and anything. They just need to fit the other criteria. So I found most people who are pan kind of discover it more as they go along. It could be different, so that's why I'm just curious if this was going to be a journey where he thinks he's bi and maybe he's just this other character. Like if people, they think they're gay or they think they're this, and they find out like, oh, it's just this one person. It's not necessarily like I like all of that. Or like a lot of people who are gay and then they date someone from the opposite sex and they're like, I thought I was super gay. And it's like maybe you're just pan and this one person does it for you and you didn't, you know? So
Yeah.
I'm like, and then this is kind of touching on what you were saying, like, are are they gonna be able to write well? Like these are all really complicated things. You don't just wake
Hmm.
up and you're like, I like boobies, like I like dick. Like, so what are they
Yeah.
gonna do with that? Yeah.
Yeah, and that's an issue that some people have because
Okay.
it's like, yeah, and maybe he is pan, like if he were a real person, he would be pansexual, but like the writers may not know all about that or they don't want to like spook their audience by
Oh,
saying he's
maybe let's
pan
do
and then
some
everyone's
more.
like, what the hell is that? And so
Ah,
they're like, he's just
with
bi.
his pan flute. No,
Yeah.
he's lost.
He's a half satyr. That's
He's
it.
half
That's
satyr. I
it.
lost him forever. He comes from Neverland. Oh my god, could you imagine? The queer community wants to slap us in the face right now.
Yes, I'm sorry, I apologize.
I'm not sorry. That was hilarious.
Um, okay, so this isn't like the first gay or bi
No.
character by
Hmm.
any means. We've got Harley and Ivy. We've got Tim Drake, who was one of the Robins, and he
Hmm.
dated a guy. But let's be real here. I've always suspected any Robin to be at least a little bi-curious. I'm just, and we also have Catwoman, who is fluid in her
Yeah,
sexuality.
are we doing just DC? Because Marvel had the first openly gay. He was an X-Men character. We talked about him a couple episodes long ago when we were just a me of audio podcast. Um, but and then Marvel they had the first gay wedding.
Oh, did they? I didn't know that.
Yeah.
I'm just going off of right now DC characters
Okay,
because
I'll stop.
it's in the DC wheelhouse, so I'm assuming like the writers
Sorry.
talk to each other a little bit
But
sometimes.
the thing is though, yeah, like Marvel, they're the ones who have had all these like the first this, the first that. But I feel like DC characters have kind of always just low key been gay and sexual.
Hmm.
Was it Doctor? Is it Doctor Marsden who is the creator of Wonder Woman?
Yeah.
Yeah, like I mean that was like a functioning thruple. That man,
Yeah.
like and I
Well,
mean, okay, granted there's always there's controversy. However, the women stayed together after he died.
yes, but not in a platonic sense. They
Yes.
never like got in it ever. It was just like it
There's
was
rumors. No one knows for sure.
rumors, but
But
for the most part, it was like him and
no,
two ladies. So it was
no
more
one knows
like,
for sure. There's been conversations that they had their own thing or they all did stuff together.
yes, yes. But
Yes. Okay.
all
So
right,
anyway, but
back
like that
to
alone, the bondage and all that, and then like
yeah.
Batman and like having it, like they are all
They're
very sexual.
psychosexual or
Like
like
there's a lot of
origins for
yeah.
a
That's
lot of
like
these characters.
DC is very sexy. I think DC. Well, I mean, like okay, like honestly, I think DC sexier than Marvel.
Yeah. When you think of DC, you think of like dark and like mysterious and brooding,
Yeah,
and that's more like Marvel is like we've got all the colors, like
and it's like
everyone's bright and yeah,
yeah,
yeah. It's
yeah,
it's it's more open, and then the DC is more like yes, I am bi, but you're not gonna know that without reading every comic and just getting
hmm
to know me as a human
yeah.
comic book character.
But
So
anyway, yeah,
yes, and we did have Batwoman, who was punished for having a lesbian relationship when she was in the military. So,
she straight up was like, "Fuck the system." Yeah.
yeah.
Um.
Um,
Yeah.
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 So
Yeah. Okay.
why I think that this is important
Yes.
is because while like Batman and Superman have cemented their place in comic book legend, everyone knows them. Everyone either loves them both or they love one over the other, but they're like the top two huge guys in
Yeah.
comics. Um, and they are the boomers essentially of comic books. Not that that's bad. They're just crystallized as people and they're not really ever going to change a lot. So, to appeal to a wider audience, we've got secondary heroes like Catwoman, Robin,
Yeah.
son of Kal-El, and those are going to better reflect people today, the modern millennials, Gen Z, the younger crowd.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, not that Batman can't represent you if you're 14, but I'm just
And
saying.
it's just hard to, and this is more of a comment on the comic culture, just like I'm adding my comic stuff to your, this conversation. It's unfortunate because I feel like that the whole point of these characters is like there has to be a reset button. Every couple of decades, like you got to just be like, we can only continue this same Superman story for so long. The only way, and like also that's the fun about these characters is that yes, they have an established, dynamic in history, but they're not fucking real people. Like we can just be like, nope, we're redoing it. I mean, like we do a fucking different Santa movie every year, and people don't lose their shit.
Well,
Like,
Santa is an immortal, all right.
he's an immortal, yeah. So like, what's my
But
thing is though,
yeah,
and so
we do have like Batman Begins, and we've got Batman Beyond, and we've got a billion different
yeah,
Batmans. We
or
got
like
old Batman, we got young Batman.
yeah,
We got
and
all
like we
these
just
Batmans.
and like we have to, and sometimes we got to redo origins, we got to redo this,
Yeah.
and it has a lot of slack, and unfortunately sometimes they do like mess up. Like there was that horrible reboot of Wonder Woman where they took away her powers and she did karate, like, and you're like, ugh. So like it does depend, but like this idea, I think this boomer aspect that you're discussing, which I agree with, it sometimes is frustrating to me though, because it's like we can't you're right, like we reboot and we can only change the side characters. We're not allowed to change the main character. And there's actually a big conversation. It's been going on for years now. And this is just I'm sorry, it's a tangent, but it's adding on to your about changing Magneto to a black man.
Well, he's a man.
Exactly. Yes, well, because and this is like the big difference, and I've talked about this before. The reason why we have, and actually I talked about this at Colorado Springs Comic Con on the Project Nerd channel when we were streaming. The reason why Magneto is the way he is, and why um, uh, Charles is the way he is, Charles Xavier, is because Magneto was a Jewish man in a concentration camp, right? So,
Yes.
as a human, he was already worth being genocide, right? He like basically his entire community and family was facing genocide. And now he's second. This is like a double minority, okay? So, and the reason why Xavier is a little bit more optimistic is because like Magneto's had the experience of they do not care. Like we literally are monsters in their eyes, and my people who before I could even crush metal in my hand, I was still a threat and they wanted to kill me.
Yeah.
So that like that repression of being a minority that's attacked in the world is what makes Magneto's character so great. We need that. That's an element. That's a core element to this character.
Yeah. Uh-oh.
That we cannot song. Are we going to keep telling the same story of World War II? Because then the longer World War II.
You kind of cut out there for a second, Sarah.
Sorry.
Your audio and video.
Oh, I'm back now. Can you see me?
You're back. Yes.
Okay.
It was just like a second, and you were frozen and quiet.
And I'm back. Sorry, that was weird. So anyway, what I'm saying is like you need that minority aspect in Magneto because it is a core character and and what makes him genuine because he's literally like, and so what my issue is that so people are saying like how long is he going to be from World War II from? Like the longer time passes, like we're getting more and more farther away. Like most of those people, have passed.
Yeah.
And so there's a campaign that he should be a black man because that is the new story of being a second-class citizen, feeling like there's a race war against you. People don't care if you're being killed in the street, just like what the Jewish people went through, and that could be, and then in turn, make Charles Xavier another black man as well, or he could just be black man, whatever, who cares? But I think it's a great idea, and people. You would think they suggested that Magneto was going to be a hamster. Like, they can't wrap their minds around this because it's too much change. Because he's not a Catwoman. He's not a Lois Lane. He's a this. And I really think that a critique of I agree with what you're saying, and I know this isn't you, but like when it comes to these new characters and their sexual orientation and this, sometimes it doesn't have to be Superman's son. Fuck it, let's make the Flash gay. He'd be great.
Yeah,
Like
he could be.
I'm just tired of comic book. I'm tired of this. It's considered this like they call it bastardization of characters when
Hmm.
we need to let these characters evolve with the times. That's what they're there for. And I
Yeah.
think that's my biggest critique about. Even though I'm very excited for this, you mentioned we were talking about the Lavender scare. I feel like
Hmm.
that's a
Whoa,
contribution to
whoa, whoa,
why.
whoa! I'm gonna get into that, woman.
Okay,
If
but
you
that's
just slow your roll.
you know what? I'm going on mute.
You don't have to mute yourself. Okay, I think that this is a big step, all right? Because it's not like a one-dimensional sidekick or villain, as we've mentioned, who's just getting this little, oh yeah, they're gay or whatever. It's an actual full-blown character um, who is this person now, and he's Superman's son. He's one of the biggest comic book legends of all time. So now, as Sarah was just alluding to very loudly, the seduction of the innocent, which has all that about the Lavender scare. Um, God, I say so much. If you guys just want to like throw eggs at your computer screen whenever I say feel free. I highly recommend it. But comics have come a long way since the 30s. They were a lot more sexual back then. People thought about Batman and his young boy sidekick Robin as pretty questionable. So I can see why. You could make Batman gay and it wouldn't be out of the ordinary. Yeah, look at these two sleeping in the same bed, having dreams together. It's good times. Um, I need a shot collar. Sarah, get me the shot collar.
Welcome back. G-Spot. This has been a brain fart by D, and I'm here to intervene while her brain reboots. So anyway, we talked about these characters, this idea. So just to recap here, we have this great new character. We're concerned about what's going to happen. There's one of the negative criticisms would be this need to have to make the side characters these quote revolutionary steps, when in reality
Yeah.
nowadays, I mean, I work with youth of all ages. I'll tell you right now, I almost every teen I've met is like openly pan, male, female, in between, whatever. I mean, we live in a community now. We live in a world now when in your business signatures you have your pronouns. So this isn't
Yeah.
like radical. This is just society. So like we don't need to keep like just change the
Yes.
main characters or don't whatever. I mean, well, you should a little bit, but so that's an issue that we need to like talk about, and I think that's really good. And I think the concept of the lavender scare and seduction of the innocent
Yes.
is a good segue for this part. So I'll let you go ahead and explain what that is. What is the definition of those two terms?
Yes. So the Lavender scare was a national security threat that people thought that these comics were going to seduce young people into becoming gay, and that was the national security threat. And if you don't know anything about J. Edgar Hoover or Alan Turing, maybe look up those guys because they have already been seduced by the Lavender scare, I guess. But J. Edgar Hoover was out there talking away about it. So that was something that people were legitimately scared about. That Batman and this young boy running around in spandex were going to seduce kids into being gay. As if it's a choice, people. Sarah, you don't have to mute your mic.
All right, listen, you
It's like
guys.
so quiet on the other end.
Okay,
It's like
listen
I'm
though.
talking into a void.
Anybody who has recorded with me, which is the entire PN team, I never shut the fuck up. And I was listening to our other episodes, and I'm like talking over you so much you can't even like hear your points, and they're so good. And I'm like,
Good.
my is me being like, shut up, bitch, shut up, let her talk. So, and I'm so
And
loud,
my is a real and it annoys me
and I'm
because every time I say it, I hear it.
and I'm like trying to be quieter because like I'm really loud on the radio too.
Well,
I'm
maybe I just need to
so
speak up. I need a megaphone.
I just so like yeah, our levels are off a lot because I'm so loud. So I'm trying to. I feel like by muting myself, I even if I have moments where I go and then like you can't hear those and then your point gets across. So that's why I'm doing that.
But
Yes,
it's
and
it's like I've got those headphones that the noise
mhm.
canceling headphones on, and I'm just like,
You know what?
hello, hello,
Uh,
hello.
and I'm just gonna jump back on you. That concept of like drinking, like we know now, and if you don't know, this is you don't choose. I mean, I guess obviously, technically, somebody can choose to date somebody from the same sex, but it doesn't necessarily mean that like that's when you're I so like I feel like I knew. I remember in the second grade, I knew I liked girls, and I didn't know bi wasn't even out yet. So like I couldn't even I didn't I remember being confused because I also knew I liked boys and it was gay or straight when I was a kid. So
Mhm.
like and this is second grade, dude. So that's like not that's very close to my daughter's age right now. Like and it's one of those things where you don't choose to be you just don't.
Mhm.
And like I had an example, a couple different things. Like I was watching the fantastic show Nailed It on Netflix. Go watch it. Please sponsor us, Nailed It. I love you guys. Oh, Nicole Breyer, love you. Yes. And so there's an episode with twins, and I mean, they never say that they're gay, so I hope I'm correct in assuming they are. But my friend I was watching with goes, "Are they both gay? Is it gay twins?" And I said, "Yeah, it looks like it." And he's like, "Oh." And then I go, "Well, are we surprised? Like we know being gay is in your genetics, so if they're identical twins, it's very realistic they could both have that gene." And he was like, "You're right. Like why am I like he was almost like, "You're absolutely correct. I feel stupid." Like that prejudice, that suspicion of
Mhm.
how are they like he was even like, "You're right. I do believe that." And yet my first instinct was they're both gay. Like that, you know? And I'm like, "But it's genetic and they're identical twins." And then
Yeah.
so like this like people you can't choose to be gay. And like I was actually watching this fantastic documentary and it's that famous it's on HBO. It's been done a couple times about it was one of the first paternity cases. There's a whole thing back during the pandemic in the 80s and 70s where
Mhm.
it was a lesbian couple and they had a gay man donate and then he was fighting for paternity rights to his daughter. And it was the first paternity case in New York and the first one in the country where it wasn't like a man and a woman had had a baby together as a married couple and then one went off to be gay. It was like, no, they were always the mom and mom unit, and this guy was just like a third party.
Well, that seems a little unscrupulous if you're
Yeah,
just gonna like
but
donate sperm.
remember it's the 70s and it was anti-gay and it was a revolution. You know, to keep in mind like this is during the heat of and like this was like and this was a big case because it was a big chance for especially gay women to be like because like nobody thought about that. Like gay men it's so much more difficult, but gay women could just choose to have children without men, and it was it was a breakthrough
A
case.
world without men.
The dream.
That's the mascara.
Grimes, Grimes. If you're going to Mars, I'm coming with you, girl. All right. So anyway, the whole point of that is that while this was going on, their two daughters that they were from two different donors, were like under the microscope. Okay, and they talk about the older one. She's only like older by like a year. Talked about the trauma she went through in her entire adolescence and teens because she knew she was gay, and not just gay, but she tended to lean towards more quote masculine styles and
Mhm.
things, and these forever pressure of like not even telling her parents this because she didn't want to let them down and she didn't want to let the community down because the biggest argument was gay women will raise other gay kids, and so
Mhm.
she was
Mhm.
too scared to come out because it would like ruin this like this image and this fight that they're having. And so like even like this is what a good example of like she knew she's like I can't be gay if they know.
Mhm.
It'll like only prove this point. And then in turn, it's funny, the younger one turns out she's straight and she actually kept it a secret from her family for a while. And so finally she's like, because she felt like she was betraying the gay community by being straight. So like gay
Wow.
can't pick her parent, and then she had to like come out as straight to her parents, and they're like, And of course, both parents were like, "Yeah, we knew you were gay. We knew you're straight. You have two mothers. Nothing gets fucking past us." So they were almost like, they're like, "Why is this a deal?" But to these children, it was crisis to them. So
Yeah.
like even gay kids have this issue, just as like straight kids and have gay and all this other stuff. So it's like, you guys, the lavender scare isn't real, and I'm hoping that if you really think that, this has helped change your mind. And
Hopefully.
so maybe that can finally, we can accept that and we can readjust our writing for our comic characters.
Yeah. Yeah. Batman. Back to Batman, my fave. He was actually the first like comic book character to be attacked for his presumed homosexuality with Robin, and people. I guess that's why they gave him like in like the first couple of issues of Batman, he had like female love interests, and he was always like the playboy. So I don't know where these people were coming from. Maybe they're like, "Oh my god," but
And it's weird too, because back in the day, like, because he's a ward, Robin's a ward, like that was pretty common back in the day for people. People would just adopt kids to like work on their farm.
did they now?
It was
Hmm.
really common for people to adopt, but people would adopt just to like have workers, be like, "I'll raise and feed you," and they would not be parents. They would be like wards and stewards, and then like
Yeah.
the kid got a good life and a good education, and they got free labor.
Yeah, man. You gotta get those fields plowed somehow.
Yeah, that was like common all the way up to like the 1950s. Like that was not that long ago. Like
Yeah.
that was
Maybe
a common system. Yeah.
maybe Magneto could be one of those kids who was adopted and then they they beat him rather severely. And it sucked. 'Cause it
Yeah.
sounds like it sucks.
I don't know if that would be that, but the whole thing is the race. It's supposed to be the comparison of
Mhm.
racial genocide.
Dude,
Also,
he could be an Armenian.
X-Men was like, why you gotta bring the super bats in?
Sorry, guys. I'll stop.
Mute yourself. Like, put on mute, bitch. Like, um, yeah, no, it's good. So it's exciting. And then you had me put this picture, and I don't know what it's for. So let's just segue to a
Okay.
new picture.
So let me rifle through my notes here. Um, okay. All right. So while there's this presumption of straightness in like every character, and I had this picture, and then we went off script, and now I don't know where I am anymore, Sarah. Oh,
You
so
have to
anyway,
be able to riff with me. Here,
I know.
I'll go ahead and I'll read the captions here while you find where you're at. Okay. Dad, I'm so happy you married Lois Lane and adopted me, Supergirl. Now we can go out and perform super feats together. Superman and Supergirl are so excited they've practically forgotten about me. But I don't mind. I love them both.
I think I
And
was
scene.
getting at the point that that people are like, why do we have to write sexuality into comic book characters? And this is from the 30s, the 40s, when Superman was just starting out, and it's literally called Superman's Girlfriend, Lois Lane, and it was all about his relationship with Lois through her eyes. But it was just a comic based on their coupling, them as a couple, all about their sexuality. So if you're going to be like, why are we writing sexuality into anything? Well, it's always been there. I mean, we've got old comic, like old ass comics. A lot of them were like sexual in nature. They were like fantasy comics, and it was like Frankenstein molesting a woman, and it was like scary with these sexual elements, and it was weird and
Mhm.
dark. And go read them. They're probably really cool. But I mean, that's where a lot of these started from. They were like smut comics back in the day. And then
Re-
like
Repressed sexuality has been in every single pop culture, and whether it is a dirty romance novel you pick at a gas station, or it's
yeah,
done even like Rocky Horror, this cult classic that's the longest running movie in America, is just the most sexual.
yeah. And Yeah. So if you're gonna whine about why these characters have to have sexualities, well, why did Batman's girlfriend have to have a comic all to herself simply about her home life?
That's always what it
And
is. People always complain about the queer characters, never complain about the straight ones.
yes, but a character that gets introduced is pretty much always presumed to be straight. So
Mhm.
you have to kind of show or tell if someone is not that, because that's the status quo. And if you have a character that's not, you've got to say it somehow. And hopefully they're not just doing it for tokenism or just like, oh, we're just going to put this in there and then forget about it for the rest of the comics. There's got to be some
Mhm.
kind of letting us know that it's not the status quo.
I will say the one thing I have really enjoyed it. I don't have a TikTok, but I know enough about it, and I watch reels and stuff.
Yeah.
As there's this Gen Z sexual revolution happening right now, and I think it's because of things like TikTok. Everything's so fast and accessible, and I really like. There's this new trend that's trying to be started of this concept of coming out should be for everybody. And there are kids who like younger kids like 8 or 9, and there's videos of parents saying like, my kids like I've been thinking a lot about it, and I want to let you know that I'm pretty sure I'm straight.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, don't make that kid feel stupid. Don't laugh in their face. Like it's like almost now we need to normalize letting everybody figure out that sexuality in that way, and that is a direct relation to the characters that we show our children, our superheroes and things like that.
Mm-hmm. Which is why I think this is beneficial, because it's a
Mhm.
son, it's Superman's son. Like, he's a younger kid. He's gonna relate more to younger kids right now, and hopefully they've got like a youth consultant to,
I do want to
get
share
on
though.
John Kent's TikTok and be like, hey, I'm saving everyone, and then do a dance.
I do want to share though that I feel like they're a little behind because I remember Poison Ivy and Harley Quinn being
Harley, yeah.
questioned sexual. But you know what? Though I will say this though, it's the fact that this is 2 men. Like you could not have done this like
Yeah.
5 years ago.
Yeah. If it's this, it's too much for society.
Only
If
this.
it's this, it's okay. It's okay.
Is this how they do it?
Which one opens up to accept the other one?
Is it? Their folds open up to create a vagina. Where is that from? Is that
It's
from
from
The
The
Office?
Office,
Yeah, even they folds out.
Dwight asked him, he's like, which one opens to accept the other one's penis?
Dwight. Oh, I could do an episode on The
Man,
Office.
he
All
said
right.
that with a straight face.
Yeah, that's
so
good. You know, Ray Wilson's like,
Props.
crack it up.
Oh yeah.
All right. Great. So that's really good. This is an exciting thing. You know, I
Mhm.
mean, it's not till we start getting a very openly gay character like on like a Disney Plus TV show or Marvel movie or
Mhm.
something like that. But this is a step in the right direction. And I think we critiqued it. And I just want to remind everybody that these are our concerns and fears, but it doesn't necessarily mean that this isn't a good thing. You know, so
Yes.
like we
It could
recognize that.
backfire terribly,
Oh, but
and they
we're
could.
holding up hope.
Yeah. So they've done
Cool.
this before, and things have backfired. So
Mm-hmm.
you know.
Well, real quick, then why don't we talk about some recaps here? First of all, we talked about Halloween last episode, and it hasn't come out yet, but it'll be out by the time this comes out. And look, I got Halloween nails. Look at. Speaking
Yes.
of the lavender scare,
Yes. Did you notice Sarah's nails are short?
Just these two.
Yes.
But
The
they're
only
also
two that matter.
we all know why these are short, but also low key, this is also a really good reason why I keep them short. Like it's kind of a win-win.
I
So
mean,
yeah,
I'm
very
a
spooky
thumb
nails.
person.
Yeah. Well, this is like I use my thumb too, but I find myself I type more with these hands when I have them short like that. These are all long. I
Makes
just broke
sense.
this nail, but yeah. So that was Halloween, and then we talk about didn't a movie come out this week? This past couple of days? What was that?
Dune? You mean Dune?
Was that a Dune on? You have a Dune. I have such a hard Dune right now. I'm Duning all over this place. I have
It's
Dune on the
bigger
walls.
than a sandworm shy Hulu.
Dune. I try to
Ooh.
explain to some people what this show is like, and I want to be like, I make dune sex noises, but then we talk about sandworms, and they're just like, okay, Sarah, like roll up the window.
Yes.
Okay,
Thank
so
you.
tell me.
Yes.
Okay, so I want to go watch it last night, and then instead I watched the horror movie Apostle. So
Well,
I'm gonna
that's a
watch.
good one though.
It was okay.
Yeah.
I think all the good stuff was in the trailer. So like
Yeah,
once we
probably.
watched it, I was like, that was like,
I mean, I have watched almost every horror movie on like Netflix just because I watch it 24/7, 365, and there's a lot of crap. Okay, there's like 90% or like below 50% on Rotten
yeah.
Tomatoes, and then there's like a few the 10% that are up above.
Mhm.
But that one was good compared to the filth and the mire of
I
just
kind of
B
I
horror.
regret not watching Babysitter Killer Queen again. I should have just watched that one a second time
I
instead of.
haven't seen that
Have
one.
you seen the first one?
No.
It's great. So meta horror is my favorite horror. I mean, I guess when it gets a
Okay.
little funny. I really like gore without like all the creepy rapiness. So that's
Yeah.
why. So I did like Apostle for that. Like I feel like every time
Mhm.
something is gory, it's always some chick without her shirt, like
Yeah.
and it's all once again
I
sexual
do have
oppression.
a grading scale of if there's nudity or partial nudity within like the first half hour, it's probably going to be like a shitty horror movie. But unless it's Cabin in the Woods, because that one,
Well,
flipped it on its
and
head.
that's meta horror. So you'll like meta horror. And Scream's meta horror too. Scream is the very first like really famous one. Because like have you seen Scream?
Yes.
So it's this concept of making fun of horror within
Horror.
horror, and sometimes it will like Cabin in the Woods and Scream. They openly recognize it,
Yeah.
while something like uh Babysitter or Tail and Ducker versus Evil, which is another really good one.
Yeah.
They kind of actually they all kind of recognize it. It's probably
Yeah.
makes it
Yeah.
meta, but Tail and Ducker is another really good one too.
Yeah. That's on my
So
watch list.
that one's fun. I don't
Mhm.
watch it with Burt Reynolds though. I know he will. He'll think this is stupid. I feel like people
He
love it or
doesn't
they hate it.
watch horror with me.
Yeah.
He hates it.
Um, but anyway, so I was going to watch Dune and I didn't. But I'm watching tonight.
Shame.
But tell me, I think we already established this episode. Dune is not high on my priority list. So give me a quick recap about it before we end this episode. Tell me what you thought without
Quick
spoilers. I'm
recap
gonna watch
about
it.
Dune. Okay, I loved it. It was very good. It's not like a 100% carbon copy from the book, but there's so much in the book, as I've said 1,000 times. But they did a good job of like whittling it down to like the bare bones of the book, the gist of it, so you get everything that you need. If you're a purist, I don't know, why are you watching movies in the first place? Go see the old ones. But I thought they did a great job. The casting was amazing.
Don't go see the old one. No one
Don't.
goes see the old one ever. Thank you.
Well,
All right.
there's that miniseries one that you.
Yes, that okay. They were talking about the 1980 with the
Yeah.
Don't see the Picard one.
Yeah. So it was good. It's got major like Blade Runner 2049 / Prometheus vibes. So there's a lot like if you can't see it, go see it in theaters because
That's a
there's
good
like
description. Yeah.
huge landscapes. There's like the soundtrack is kind of like Mandalorian-esque, where it's not like melodic. It's like soundscapes that just kind of amplify the visuals on screen. So you're getting, I don't know, it's like just your eyes and your ears are being assaulted, but in a good way. And you're getting all the visual and the sound. And whenever they use like,
Did you see it in theaters?
oh yeah, oh yeah.
Okay. It was worth it
That's
in
how you do
theaters?
it, yeah. It's really loud, and some people were like, "It's so loud, like, you can barely hear people talk," and there was, like, a scene where Baron Harkonnen, like, he was eating, and I just couldn't hear anything he was saying. So maybe if you're seeing it on your TV, throw on the subtitles, because
Okay,
there's some things that
subtitles.
you can't really hear. But I liked it. The only casting that I didn't like was Zendaya, because I feel like she plays the
Zendaya?
same. Yes, she's like Kristen Stewart in Twilight. She's just like light as a feather, stiff as a board. And she's like Mary Jane from Spider-Man in all of her roles that I've seen her. But I haven't seen like Euphoria or
Yeah, I saw
the
her
one
in.
where she's like in a marriage and they're fighting.
She's in the second season of Aya, which got canceled, which always bummed me out. And she's different in that one.
Okay.
She's I feel also too though. She's a very naturally cool person. Like her
Yeah.
personality is very like that's like just kind of who she is. I
She seems like
found
too cool to like be there, and I'm like, just
I think it's oddly enough, I think the most diverse I've ever seen. She was in that. Was it Disney or Nickelodeon? The dance TV show. Her start. It was Disney because she was also in
oh
Casey Undercover, but she was in the with Bella Thorne. She was in that. It's probably the
oh
most diversity because it's like, hey, this is a children's show. Waka waka. Like
yeah
so
yeah
I was like, so like she's capable of. I just think she's casted. I also think she's typecasted a bit.
yeah I could see
Like
that for
I
sure.
mean, like I could say the exact same thing about Jason Momoa, just a different style.
Yeah.
You know.
Him for sure. Yeah.
Because
And
was he charming and a little wahoo and buff and fight, and then he would brood once in a
yes,
while? Yeah. So
he did
it's
well. He doesn't brood in this because they
but yeah,
don't.
he doesn't have a
He's cut
stare,
down.
the
Yeah.
Momoa stare. So like, I mean, we can say the same thing about everybody. You know, I feel like
Yeah.
everybody, and I kind of talked about this in the Dune episode. I feel like everybody was casted in that movie to play people they've already played before.
Yeah.
Like it's the
Yeah.
same actors over and over. It's like we have the same set of superheroes and or heroes in every, like we just give them a different name and costume. Like
Yeah.
it's like,
But it was. They
mhm.
did a good job. All of them. I loved
All
it.
right, go see Dune.
Go
I'll go
see
see
it,
Dune. Check out
and then
DC
at me.
Comics. I'm gonna at you. All right,
Yeah.
yeah. So definitely, we got to go ahead. You got to check out DC Comics, all that great stuff. I want to talk some stuff right now. It's already ended, but if you have been following, you go ahead. You want to also follow the Project Nerd website, okay? Where what we have going on there, we have lots of live streams. We've been doing a lot of con traveling right now. I am gonna be filming this weekend at Fan Expo at Denver
Oh
Comic
yeah.
Con, sorry, just Fan Expo now. No, used to be Denver Comic Con. I
Oh.
will only be there on Sunday on site because we have our so we have a lot of we have our oh my gosh, we didn't talk about this yet. Have we talked about what's coming out on Roku and other streaming services, app of sorts?
Oh no, we haven't. It's Project Nerd TV, y'all.
Project on TV. Welcome to the TV. It's the future. Yeah. So we're doing lots of filming and lots of traveling out. The world's getting back. So I'll be there. I will be recording for Project Cosplay, which is our. It's a great way to support artists. It's our cosplay interview show. It's a lot of fun. But then, even though I will only be there on Sunday, all weekend we will have a team there. They will be live streaming. So you want to go ahead and you want to go on the Project Nerd Facebook. If you don't know how to access that, if you look down below, what's that? It's our Facebook. Yes, and we're going to be good about posting about that. We haven't been good about posting some of the other streams. We need to be better about that. I'm the tech. Someone else is the social media and has been dropping the ball.
What?
No, she's
Am
the
I
best.
gonna live stream my life?
No, but we've got to share the live stream on the Project
Oh,
Nerd
yeah.
live
Okay.
stream.
Mhm.
Also, she's great. That whole system would fall if it wasn't for Dee. So go ahead, check that out this Halloween weekend. I don't. You'll
This
hear this again.
Halloween.
Halloween. Hey, what are you gonna be for Halloween?
A mom.
All right. Well.
No, my go-to is Morticia Adams.
Yeah, I'm gonna be Morticia at Fan Expo, which will probably have already happened by the time this airs. And then I have a
Oh.
Daphne costume too, because my office we're all going
yeah.
with Scooby Doo, so maybe I'll do that one. It's a very classic Halloween women,
Yeah.
like Daphne from Scooby Doo, Morticia. It's been a lot of like like the old school '60s stuff. So it's
Yeah.
glamorous Hollywood
Oh
Halloween.
yeah.
All right. Okay. Anything else you want to talk about, Dee?
Have a great
No.
day, everyone.
Oh, and then one thing too, and I should have gotten a photo for this. I know at the end, real quick, if you are struggling or you know anybody who is struggling, please check out the Trevor Project or go ahead, look online. There's a lot of resources for especially young queer people, whether you're questioning, you're in a situation, you want to talk to somebody, but the Trevor Project is a really great place to start. And they're specifically created for youth, LGBTQA, XYZ, the whole shebang. So go ahead and check that out. That's what I wanted to end on. Thank you, everybody.